Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. So I cannot believe it has been a full week since my last weekly update. Where is the time going? Where I must say there's times where I want to slow things down, and then there's times where I'm like, I don't mind it going a little bit fast, especially when you're having a good week and your mindset is right and you're sleeping well. You just want to keep stacking those days up as much as possible. But if you are new to my channel, I'm Jen, and I have been on a weight loss journey since March of 2023. I started taking Mounjaro, now I'm on compounded Tirzepatide, and even though I am still actively trying to lose some weight, I'm focusing a little bit on some different areas like body recomposition, which is the body fat percentage, visceral fat. Like I'm staying closer to some of those metrics with my new scale and just trying to learn more about myself, like my BMR, and I'm coupling things now. I'm bringing the Lumen device back into the mix, which I loved using that. And then I just feel like I said, beginning of this year, I just was like, I'm not doing anything. I'm gonna wing it. And that obviously did not end well. But I want to cover a little bit in this video about how I felt on my first week decreasing to 5.5. I actually plan to upload a completely different video than this one, where I took you with this. I'm doing this on a Sunday. Yesterday was Saturday, so I did a day in the life. I took you out with me. I ran a bunch of errands. I went to a med spa, food shopping. I just gave you a rundown of how the week went that way. And there was at one point at the end of the day after dinner where I was editing a little bit, something happened. And it completely contradicted a statement I made maybe less than an hour earlier. And I decided, you know what? I could have just left that part out, but I scrapped it for now. And I want to sit down and I want to talk about what happened last night. And just not a medical professional. So what I'm going to be talking a lot in this video is about my opinion on things for me and things that I have realized as I'm learning more about my body cues. So let's go ahead. Let's get into it. I just spent the last first full week going down to 5 milligrams. And so I've said it in videos before. I spent a month with 2.5, should have stayed on it longer because I found a lot of success that first month. Like I lost a lot of weight. And then I think 2/3 of my weight loss, so I've lost 90 pounds, was on 2.5 and 5. And I know there's just each and every one of us is different. We are, and there's so much information out there about when we should and shouldn't titrate. And it's really, I think sometimes it's an opinion based. Like every single one of us is our own clinical trial. And I say that, like how we approach this medication and our goals. Yes, there's a blueprint, but there are things you have to do that are just specific to you. And so I didn't realize it until this week that for me, I think 5 milligrams was the dose I should have always stayed at. Even on the times where I was stalling or felt like some of the food noise came back or a little bit of the appetite suppression. And what I mean by that is I took my shot so like over a week ago, I do it on Fridays, right? And Saturday and Sunday, a little bit of fatigue, pushed through it, just did my normal, Saturday and Sunday things, ran my errands, went out, and just got organized for the week. Monday rolled around, so I think I had a little fatigue, but Monday rolled around, I was like a whole new person. I remember waking up going, oh, that was some good sleep. And then it was like some of that brain fog that I had for a while kind of just went away. And I don't know how to explain it, but something felt slightly different that morning. And I was like, all right, well, just keep going with it. And as the days progressed in the week, I could feel my body just running optimally. And it's it wasn't just, I can stick to the gym and the hydration and all those things, but it was like the food noise that I've been battling just a little bit of the past couple weeks, maybe really for the past 3 months. It went away. And I'm like, And I didn't think about it until the other day. I told myself, just try to avoid the snacking this week, Monday through Friday, try to avoid the snacking. And I went into the, after the gym, I went into the food store like twice this past week because I forgot. I was like, oh, I needed an avocado. Oh, I needed this. Maybe that's a good and bad thing living close to, I could walk through a food store. But, like, I feel like sometimes that would backfire on me where I would go in there and I would get the couple things I need, but I'm like, oh, I'm going to grab 2 cookies. Or, oh, look at this, the brownie for the week. Or, and those things are okay. I'm not saying they're bad. But for me, they trigger me to keep going. And so if, say, Monday night I stop in the store to get avocado and I get 2 cookies, that means Tuesday I'm going to stop in there. I'm going to need to get, some tortilla wraps. Oh, let me go ahead and grab some chips. That's what I mean by that. It's not a once a week thing. It would spiral me each day to think about, oh, I could go for a donut. Oh, now I could go for this. And it doesn't stop. Whereas this week, I didn't think about it at all. Like, at all. And it was as if I just started over again. And that's what had me just thinking about how I was just able to focus on what I wanted to eat, what was on my meal plan, enjoying my meals. And I wasn't constantly thinking about that next snack that I can have. When can I have that next snack? Some sugary treat. And that was freeing. It was. And it's freeing because I never thought I would get that back. Now, I don't know what next week's going to bring or the week after that, but just knowing that I had it this past week, a little bit of reprieve, I will take that. And the other thing that was interesting, as I'm on 5 milligrams and I just, sleeping really well, I actually ate a little bit more. That's the hurdle. And I say this sensitively, because I don't have an issue, 1,1500 calories. That's been around my range for a little while now. And sometimes I would dip a little bit lower than that because I feel like for me, it's ingrained in my head when you're stalling to kind of cut calories, go a little bit more extreme in your deficit. And that actually does worse for my body than it doesn't benefit it. And I'm learning those things. And it's been 2 years and I'm still reminded of these things. And this week, most of my days, I ate between 1,700 and 1,800 calories. Very well balanced, though. I did follow I use a Lumen device on occasion, and I'm bringing that back into the mix right now because I feel like I'm in the right headspace to be able to eat more, to be able to trust the science and trust the process. Before, I was a little bit apprehensive of like, I would eat a little bit more. I'd get on the scale the next day because, I'm weighing every day and I'm like up a pound and I'm like, well, it's because you ate like 1,700 calories. Look at all, like you ate 100 grams of carbs and 100 grams of fat. Like this is what it is. And then not realizing like you're following it and the next day you're down 1.5 pounds. So 2 days you're down 0.5 pound. Like this is where, sometimes the fault of my own, wanting to follow numbers and data too closely. I feel like it got a little bit unhealthy there for the past couple of weeks, but I followed the Lumen device, and 3 out of 6 days this week, I woke up in fat burning mode. So you breathe into the device, it tells you your level. I mainly just do my readings in the morning and the evenings right now. And I noticed that when I was following their guidance, and also it mirrors a lot of what's on my scale as well in terms of, calorie requirements to be able to lose, pound a week, or, you can change it around to 1.5, but they don't like extreme more than that because it's about metabolic flexibility. And, you're trying to burn fat, put on muscle. You don't want to just extreme caloric deficits. That's not something I do anymore because I've already lost 90 pounds. Now I'm trying to do things slightly different. But, waking up 3 days a week in fat burning mode, and just feeling overall amazing has me thinking about, is there the right dose for a person? And I don't know. It's ingrained in our brain to go up when you are in a stall. If you have that appetite suppression that's all of a sudden coming back, or you're dealing with some increased food noise and you go up and you're like, well, I still have it, and you go up and you still have it. I say for me, I should have listened to my body because for the past year, I've been titrating 7.5 to 10 and going up and down depending on how I feel. Like I'd be on 10 for a week or two, and then all of a sudden these side effects come in and I drop back down. I stay at 7.5, but I'm not losing weight. So then I try to go back up. It's this cycle that I would go through, this dose cycle of trying to figure out what's going on. And in all actuality, my body was telling me this whole time that it just needed to be 5 milligrams. And it levels me out for me to then work on myself. And that's my realization, because there's moments even on 7.5 or 10 where, I would have some like, I want to say, because I've never tested it, but blood sugar drop episodes. You definitely know when you have them. I don't need to take a test to tell you that I've had it, or some like little blood pressure things, or I've had, some issues with my right eye off and on. And I was just, equating it to maybe allergies or whatever, and dry eye. And I'd put that, and I would still have some issues there, and the sleeping issues. And my body was telling me, whatever you're doing, it's too much for me. It's too much. And I didn't catch on to it until this week. I didn't. And that's where I've made, and I said it before without even knowing this was going to happen, that 5 was going to be the highest I ever go again. I'm going to stay on 5 for the foreseeable future. And if any issues happen, I'm not going up past 5, because I've experimented with that for a year with no success. And I think maybe that's where we get into this trap of putting so much focus on that dose. Now, for some of you, I agree. The higher doses, you can lose more weight. Each and every one of us is different. I'm talking about me. And going from where I started to now, with having 2.5 and 5 being the optimal amount for my body, I need to stay at that, because this week was an absolute eye-opener. And also, I don't even know how I'm going to describe this story, because even though I have a YouTube channel and talking about these things, I'm still a little bit of a private person. I keep some things to myself. But yesterday at dinner, I sat down, and I got one of my favorite things, which was Mission Barbecue. And I got a big salad. I got pulled pork. And I had some siete tortilla. I had some avocados. I planned to make pulled pork tacos. But because I had such a great week and I was feeling so good, I decided to also and I was only going to eat half of it, and that's what I did. I decided to get a little cup of mac and cheese, because I love everything there. The only thing I haven't tried is the salmon, and I don't like salmon, but I feel like if I get it from there, I'm going to like it. So that's to be determined. I feel like I got to try the salmon. But I had my dinner, and I said in this day in the life video that at this point in my journey, this is day after shot, I don't necessarily have to follow those strict rules that I would do in the beginning, where I would avoid higher fat foods or big caloric meals, because I have not had issues. I've had no issues. I think you know where I'm going with this. I've had no issues for months. I enjoyed that dinner. Yes, it was a little bit higher calorie, higher fat, because during the day, I had my protein coffee. I had an amazing smoothie from Pure Raw Juice. And I had, I think, a beef stick and a fruit bar. I just had a couple little things just to tide me over, because I knew I was having a slightly bigger dinner. And I felt amazing after it. And about an hour later, I had stomach cramping that just about took me out. I have never experienced that pain before in my life. At one point, I was like, I might have to call a neighbor. I'm like, I don't know what is happening. I wanted to go watch the Kentucky Derby with people. And I'm like, I'm laying on the floor right now. I'm just like laughing hysterically at this. And my stomach hurt so bad. I had to use the bathroom. I probably lost about 10 pounds. But anyway, so that's how I'm going to describe it here. I'm not going to go into anything else. There's no need for me to describe anything. It's like a Dumb and Dumber movie situation with one of the guys. But I have never experienced anything like that before. And guess what? It's because I was always so careful, especially when I started on shot day and like 2 days after the shot, of just making sure that I didn't consume a lot of food, especially in one meal. And I was always so good. And then I got cocky, and I said it in the video. I mean, if I I might have deleted the footage, but if I can find it, I'll insert the footage quickly where I said specifically that I don't have to worry about these things anymore. And it was like, slam. I got taken out big time. And I'm still, honestly, I should have probably, and I need to be drinking my water, but I should have drank a little bit more water because I woke up this morning definitely feeling on the dehydrated side. So I usually have Motive Pure as my electrolytes because it's not as much of the, you know, protein, what is it, potassium, magnesium, like just like the sodium content. That's not as much as, say, Element. This morning I took that Element packet and I said, you got to drink all this. You need to finish all this like in 2 hours, like 40 ounces. You got to get your electrolytes in, got to replenish yourself. But that's what I thought was so interesting. It's as if I started all over again yesterday. And I'm really aware that I have to be careful moving forward. I did not need that wake-up call, but I definitely got it. But I wanted to share that because even 2 years in, there's so many surprises and unknowns, and your body is changing. You need to keep learning about it. And I felt like overall, this was an incredible week for me. And as I said it in another video, I'm not at the point where I do have some long-term goals. I have some short-term goals. I have all that, you know, getting finalized. But as I start each week, I am going to say, this is what I have planned for next week. And what I mean by that is do I go all out? Do I bring it? Do I send it, as I call it? Or do I just need something in between? Or do I need to take a step back? And so this past week was that in between. It was the introductory phase. You're at 5 milligrams. You don't, the unknowns of that because you just decreased. You changed your shot day. And you're just trying to get back on track. You know, you go to the gym. You're doing all the things that you need to do. Bring the Lumen device in, etc. You got your scale, you have your goals, everything mapped out within that scale to start tracking. You're only weighing yourself once a week now, so you don't have to think too much about that. And I was like, let me just take my time. This is what I should be eating. Let me try to hit those macros. If I don't, that's okay. I'm going to get close enough. This week, I've decided I'm sending it. I'm going to send it. What I mean by that is I'm just going to take it up a notch, a smidge, nothing ridiculous or crazy, but more of a really try to follow as close as you can to the recommendations from the macros for the Lumen device. Track your food a little bit, see how you're feeling, push it a little bit more in the gym, get some more steps in. I thought this week I might try to do 12,000 steps a day, see how I do. These are all things that I'm putting on myself, and if I don't hit them, then guess what? It only just affects me. It's not anything else. These are decisions that I'm making. So I decided this week I want to send it. I want to see how I feel. I want to see how I do. I'm shooting this on a Sunday. I did my shot on Friday. Very little fatigue. The only issue was eating a little bit too much last night and suffering from it. So I will definitely be aware of that come next weekend, next Friday and Saturday. But I want to wrap up this video here. I wanted to share just a little bit of that because I just feel like I have found that happy medium. I have found the dose that my body needs, nothing more, nothing less right now. And I want to see what this week brings, and then I will recap you all and let you know how this week goes, and also really in all honesty, like what I plan to do the next week, because I want to take it week by week and just see how I do. And I'll leave it with this. I did lose some weight. I'm not going to tell you the exact number because I am not worried about that right now. I want to see some of these other metrics go up. I will share them either every other week or once a month. But I want to thank you so much for just tuning in, checking out my weekly update. Comment below if anything that I've just talked about has happened to you. And what I mean by that is, did you find that you were titrating up and it wasn't what you were expecting, and you were searching for something, like you were searching for more appetite suppression or food noise, and you were titrating up and you didn't find it, but as you started to decrease and level out and you found that dose and it was lower than what you were normally taking, and it just started, as like a refresh to your system, comment below and comment below your thoughts on just, how my week went, because I think with the removal of food noise, some of us can thrive. We really, really can. And we can really focus on just healthy, normal eating. And I wish I can continue feeling the way I did this week. We'll see what this week brings. But if you haven't, hit that subscribe button. And if you liked this video, just take a second, hit that like button. And I will see you in the next video. I'll catch you later. Bye.